Hello everybody, this is Judy from Maysky Stainless Steel Limited. Welcome to our live broadcast every Friday. We will share some news first. First one, industrial metal price like stainless steel hit a new record. In the past weeks, aluminium hit a 13-year high and nickel soared to its highest level since 2014. Both metals benefit from strong long-term prospects because of their role in the clean energy transition and China's crackdown on emissions from energy-intensive industries. An analyst said nickel prices have been hovering, waiting to find a way to break. China's subsumption of energy-intensive industry is spreading from aluminum to stainless steel and nickel pig iron. Soaring commodity prices, soaring transportation costs, and uneven economic recovery have been putting pressure on global consumption prices. Data released last week showed that China's factory price index accelerated to a 13-year high, and data scheduled to be released this week show that the US CPI has risen by more than 5%. The price of aluminum on the London Metal Exchange was crept to the highest level since 2008. In addition to China's production restriction, concerns about the possible tightening of bolster supply give an additional boost. Nickel price jumped to the highest level since 2014. There are already signs that the commodity boom is reshaping consumption patterns. The largest Japan air conditioner manufacturer plans to replace half of its copper with aluminum by 2025. A Chinese national researcher is also working with top home appliance group to study how to use aluminum more. Nickel is a key component of electric vehicle batteries and is expected to be one of the raw materials that will benefit the most from the global transition to low-carbon energy. The electric car maker is trying to protect itself from future supply countries. Second one, about the shipping company and the cost. The highest freight increased over 10,000 US dollars. Some time ago, CMA Shipping Company announced that the suspension of spot rates increase, and the Harbour also announced a freight increase. Shortly thereafter, for a while, the industry began to think that ocean freight rates would start a downward pace, but it's really a case. It's reported that the world's second largest container liner company, Maysky Shipping Company, recently issued two price increase notices. They launched three major price increase items such as the freight increase, peak season surcharge, and the port congestion charge. Here you can container 40 feet container and the 40 high cube container and the 42 container. So the total most highest is more than $10,000 the increase. The scope of this freight rate increase is also very special. It's aimed at the cargo's ports of departure at South China Port and Hong Kong, and the destination ports are East and West U.S. ports. So we don't think the shipping cost will decrease at least this year. If you have any shipments need to deliver, we suggest you make area shipments because come in the December and the January next year, the Christmas and the Chinese New Year is coming soon, and the shipping cost at this time will be much higher too. The next one, shipping companies 2022 revenue will exceed this year. Area Maersk said that the first quarter of 2020 performance was the best performance ever. On February 10 this year, he announced Maersk's preliminary forecast for 2021 full-year performance, stating that the best scenario is that the 2021 full-year performance 4 times the first quarter of 2020. However, this expectation has already been updated. A few days ago, Maersk raised its full-year performance forecast for the third time. It now appears that the profits of the shipping company in the second half of the year is even greater than that of the first half, which is even more unfavorable for the freight company. Another signal of strong performance is in the second half of the year comes from Evergreen Shipping, which publicly reports month's operating income. Evergreen's revenue in the first 2 months of the third quarter was most the same as that of the entire second quarter. Deutsche Bank released a report that is extremely optimistic about the container shipping market. They said, "We are turning to the view that the revenue of shipping companies will peak in 2022, not this year." Reported in May this year that the supply chain disruption and port congestion trends will begin to improve, which will reduce spot freight rates. However, since then, we have clearly seen that not only has the demand in the container shipping market become stronger, but the supply chain problems and the port congestion problems are getting worse rather than improving. Next one. China stopped production of major steel mills. The Chinese government has ordered major steel producers in China to cut production significantly and keep it at 2020 levels. For many steelmakers, this means cutting monthly production by 20 to 13%, or even shutting down entire blast furnaces. In the United States, the main North American stainless steel producer, NAS, is declaring force majeure due to supply difficulties for industrial gas, and on the SHFE, stainless steel futures are up as much as 4%. Next one. Oh, Europe. Germany's biggest steelmaker, ThyssenKrupp, is diversifying its stainless steel business and plans to sell its Italian subsidiary, Essential Special Titanium, to the Avanti Group. Germany's biggest steelmaker, ThyssenKrupp, is divesting its stainless steel business and plans to sell its Italian subsidiary, Essential Special Titanium, to the Avanti Group. The deal included the related sales organizations in Germany, Italy, and Turkey. This will flush a little money into the coffers of the Elring Group, which has been trying to save itself from the crisis for years. Both sides have decided not to disclose the transaction price. This transaction was expected to be completed in the first half of 2022. AST currently has approximately 2,700 employees. The sales value during the fiscal year 2019 to 2020 was around 1.7 billion euros, which all in all could have a pretty smart move by Christian Group, whether you like the group or not. Next one, stainless steel net export hit a new low in 10 years. In August, under the combined influence of the decline in exports and the rebound in imports, the net export data was only 51,000 tons, which was the lowest month's net export in the past 10 years. At present, the price of raw material and stainless steel is high, and the domestic stainless steel supply is naturally tightened due to the force of domestic limitation of production policy. According to our research and understanding, the output of stainless steel in September is expected to reduce to 2.22 million tons, of which the output of the 200 series and the 300 series are reduced by more than 200,000 tons. The gap between supply and demand in the market is gradually emerging, and the new balance may be made up from overseas markets. Area on the topic of leveraging and anti-dumping in Indonesia. People in the industry have had many discussions. Increasing imports and reducing exports can help alleviate the current demand of tight raw material. In the context of the production restrictions, domestic stainless steel production has declined month by month. In September, production has plumped. The current market inventory is low. Now imports are increasing and exports are decreasing, which may ease the domestic supply tension to a certain extent. At present, under the strict implementation of production restrictions by various steel mills, stainless steel prices are expected to run strongly in the short term. However, attention should be paid to the negative feedback impact of declining domestic and export demand for stainless steel on the price, as well as the risk of high price after gas purchase return. Okay, that's all for the news today. Then I will introduce the tube production process by some pictures of our factory. First, this is the raw material of our tubes. We call it stainless steel strip. We will put the strip on the runners. When the machine runs, the runner will put the material into the machine. The material we can make is 201, 304, 304L, 316, 316L, and 430. This is the raw material of our welded tubes. Okay, next one. When the material into the machine will bend the material into the tube shape, round, square, or rectangular. It's the bending process. In the meantime, it goes to the welding process. Our welding way is TIG welding. TIG welding. And through those steps, the tubes are in shape. Here you can see the tubes are in the round shape. Then we will cooling the tubes by water. After cooling the tubes, the machine will cut the tubes into the length we need. The regular tube length is 6 meter, 6.1 or 5.8 meter. If you have special requirements, such as 3 meter, 4 meter, or other lengths, we also can make it. Then the final process of the tubes is polish. Polish is an important process because different customers have different requirements. The most popular surface in Europe is 13, such as 180 grades, 240 grades, 320 grades. Also polished in 600 grades. Also, some customers require for mere 800 grades. It's the polish process. After finishing the polish, then the tubes finish the production. After finishing the production, our inspectors will check the tube's quality piece by piece. They will test the size, thickness, length, and also check the straightness and the surface. Here you can see we check the thickness here, and check out that outer diameter size here. And the next one is check the tube length if it's or meets the standard. We will check the tube quality piece by piece. Only the tube is okay, then we will start to packing. For our packing, we will pack each tube into one plastic bag, and the several tubes packed into big bundle. On each bundle, we will put 2 ropes, so it's better for customers to unload the tubes when they sealed in a warehouse. For round tube, we will put it in such shape so customer can better stock in the warehouse. Also, we will put a label on each tube so you can verify our tubes with other surprise tubes. If you don't want to stick the label on the tube, we can also stick it on the plastic bag. If you have such requirements, just let us know in advance. Also, on each bundle, we will have such a label too, bundle label, so you can see the tubes, the information clearly when they sealed. So when finished the packing, we will put the tubes in our warehouse. Although we have big warehouse to stock the tubes, normally we will put the tubes in the warehouse and when. Meantime, we will start to book shipments. Once book the shipment successfully, we will start to load in the container. Normally, the booking period is about 1 week. Here you can see we are loading the container. We are loading the container by truck. After loading, then all we need to do is send all the shipment documents to customers. We can do the original BL and also tariff BL. You just let us know in advance, and we can do the BL type as per requirements. This is the entire process from production to shipments. If you still have questions, okay. If you still have any questions about the production, process and our factory. Here is our contact information. You can send us email or call us or send a message to us on WhatsApp. If you have any question, you can contact us and we will reply you within 24 hours. Okay, now let me introduce our main products. Our factory only manufactures stainless steel welded tubes. We have 201, 304, 304L, 316L for 30 grade material. Our tube standard is ASTM A554 and A270 in Europe. It also has different names. You can see the different standard here. But for ASTM A554, it's for decoration and brush-trade use. And for A270, tubes are for sanitary. For all the tube surface, we can make have mirror finish. Mirror finish tube means don't need to polish, don't need to have polish process. And for polish, we can make 13, 180 grades, 220 grades, 320 grades. And for polish, also mean bright surface, we can make 400 and also 600. Also the mirror 800 grades. For round tube, we can do the size from 6 mm to 323, the largest one. For rectangular tube, we can do 20 by 10 to 200 by 100. For square tube, we can do 10 by 10 to 200 by 200. And for thickness, we can make from 0.3 to 5 mm. Like the round tubes, the most popular size in Europe are 25.4, 42.2, and 50.8. For square tube, the most popular size is 40 by 40. And the most popular thickness is 1.5 and 2 mm. Also, some customers like in Netherlands and Denmark, they ask for 3 mm. So if you want to know more information about our sites, welcome to send us email and we will send you our e-catalog for check. Okay. Here is our contact information. You can send us email. We will send our catalog for you to check more details. Then about the surface, I will show you by our samples one by one. Here, this is the round tube for mirror. Maybe, and we can compare it with 600 grades. Clearly, the 800 grades is much better than 600 grades, but the cost for 800 grades is also much higher. Here, this one is 13,320 grades. The surface is very smooth. The most customer like the surface. Also for square tube, this is 180 grades. It's here. Also some customer quite here. Next one, this is square 800 like mirror surface. Here we can compare it with the 600. Besides the tube, we also have the straw tube, round straw tube, and the square and the rectangular straw tube. So because some customer also require for through tube for the brush-treated field customers. Besides the decoration tube, we can also do some other process like the inside bead remove and the inside polish. Here, this one is the inside bead remove. Inside bead remove. Inside bead remove process and the inside polish for century. And also we can make the pickling process. After the tip after pickling, the surface is little like white. And also this tube will make the inside bead remove. Inside bead remove surface polish. Inside bead remove process. Besides the tubes, we can also do some fittings like the apples, stainless steel apples. Some shorter, different lengths apples. And the app here, the 90 grade apple, 19 grade apple. And the crabs with the rubber, crabs with the rubber. That's all our product range. If you have any demand, you can send us inquiry and we can make offer to you. Also, we pay much more attention to the details when packaged. We will test the size, the thickness, the length, and make sure it can meet the tolerance of the size. Also, we will check the surface, make sure they are not the sand hole, scar ridges, and also the surface finish is what the customers need. We will check the cut edge and make sure there are no bumps and the edge is flat and smooth. Also, we will check the straightness, make the tube is straight and without bending. Then it's the material test certificate. We prepare the 3 samples. This one is for 316. 316, you can see the nickel. Nickel is more than 10%. More than 10%. 316, 316. Next one, 304. 304 nickel mass higher than 8%. Higher than 8%. Then 201 is the nickel is higher than 1%. 1%. If you want the complete the meal test certificate, you can send us the email. We also prepared some sample for our customers, like the round tube 42 part 2. Surface is 320, also 40 by 40 by 1.5, 2 millimeter. Surface is 240 grades and 320 grades. Material in 304. If you have any demand for the samples, you can send us email. If you need the sample, send us the email. We will prepare it well in 7 days. Finally, we will, in the end of November, we will participate the Stainless Steel World Exhibition to be held in Netherlands from 30th November to 2nd December. Our booth number is B86. If you will go to that fair, welcome to visit our booth. We are looking forward to meet with you there. Stainless Steel World Exhibition. Okay, that's all for today's live broadcast. Thank you for watching. See you next time.